there's always those scrubs that start to judge a city without even going there. They say that Mexico is dangerous. They say that Colombia is dangerous, but there's some amazing locations all over the world, especially in Latin America. I used to say the same thing. I didn't think that Colombia really had much to offer until I actually went and visited the country. I fell in love with it. Colombia is one of my favorite destinations. We're gonna be talking about the things that I love and hate about Colombia. This is gonna be an honest review. I hope this is helpful if you are considering to move or visit Colombia. Let's go ahead and start off with the things that I love about Colombia. So the first thing that I really enjoy about being in Colombia, the weather. Depending on what part of the country you go visit, it's going to change dramatically. If you're in the coast, it's going to be a lot hotter, like Cartagena, Barranquilla. These cities are known to be hot because they're on the coast. They're closer to the Caribbean. But if you go in deeper into Colombia, to the mountainside, over here by Bogota, Medellin, the weather is a lot cooler. And for me, I just really enjoy this weather. I think that's what I'm built for. I'm built for more of a colder climate. It just allows me to sleep better. I like being outside when it's cold and it's fresh. When I visit, I really enjoy going to Medellin because of the climate. There's a lot of really nice pueblos around Medellin as well that have even better climate, depending on the elevation that you go visit. But Medellin is a great spot, and Bogota as well. The next thing would be that it's a lot cheaper than the US. When you get paid in American dollars and you spend in American dollars, you don't really see the power of the American dollar. But when you come over here and you convert your dollars into pesos, you see how far the dollar actually can go here. You can buy a lot of things, your essentials, rent. It's a lot cheaper living over here, and you just get a lot more out of your money. So I really enjoy coming over here, especially when I'm working. Right now I'm making these videos, working on my business. This allows me to really focus and concentrate and really double down on what I got to get done. So that's a big plus about living here. If you're looking for an affordable spot, I would highly recommend coming here. The next thing is the women. I would say that Colombia has a lot of beautiful feminine women. It just makes it a lot better. I don't know, you get that little extra motivation. I feel it a lot more when I'm in the gym and I'm trying to get that extra set in, that extra rep. I really enjoy knowing that there's a beautiful girl there, and that gives you that extra motivation. The women are more feminine, and I really like their accent, like the way that they talk in Spanish. So I'm bilingual. I can speak Spanish and English, and when I communicate with them in Spanish, it's a lot different from my Spanish. I grew up in a Mexican-American household, so our Spanish is different. And I really enjoy the Colombian accent, so that's just a plus. The next thing is the people. I think the people here are very friendly, particularly in Medellin. As far as Medellin is concerned, the people are very polite, very friendly, they're very helpful. It reminds me a lot of Texas hospitality. Also in Guadalajara, Mexico, there's a similar attitude here as well. And I really enjoy that because it makes it easy to talk with people, have a conversation. You just feel comfortable being here and talking with people. And the last thing is the outdoors. Colombia is beautiful as far as geography is concerned. They have mountains, beautiful beaches. Medellin has some of the most amazing views of the city. There's a lot of miradores that you can go see the city, and there's just so much to do here. You can go for nice hikes or runs. There's a bunch of trails in this city. It just makes it a lot easier to be in the outdoors and get that peace that's necessary when there's so much noise going on. As far as the cons or the things that I don't like about Colombia, to be completely honest, there's not much things. That's why I like coming here so much. If I were to mention some, I think it would be the traffic, the way that traffic moves here. Traffic it gets heavy here, and especially if you're in Medellin or a big city, there's a lot of traffic. So you just gotta be aware of that. If you're trying to get to one place, you gotta be aware of the time that's gonna take you to get there. Next thing will be the level of safety. I think a lot of tourists come here and they take advantage of being here. And I think that people need to be more respectful when they come visit this country. I hear it a lot when I speak with the locals, especially when I'm talking to them in Spanish. It just makes the conversation a lot more genuine. And they let us know that, there's a lot of tourists that come and they're disrespectful with the people. They think that they're above everyone else. They're very flamboyant. And I think that that's caused a culture here in Colombia that certain locals here don't like tourists. And it's gotten as far as where they attempt to scam, or they will attempt to rob you as well. So you have to be very aware of where you visit. Colombia does not have the same level of safety that the US does. there is some areas that you just do not want to go to. You have to be very aware of that. Since there's a lot of beautiful women here, and there's a lot of sex work here that happens as well. It's just part of it as a byproduct. And a lot of foreigners come for that reason, and they're susceptible to being scammed via getting drugged, being robbed. The last couple of months, there's been a lot of incidents where there's been people getting drugged with this drug. I think it's called scopolamine. Scopolamine. I think that's how you say it in English. But it's essentially a drug that like completely takes away your free will. So you just kind of follow along with whoever's around you. So a lot of women here have been known to do that they drug men, and they steal like their information from their bank accounts, they steal their phones, anything that's valuable. If they're at their house, they can steal their computers, everything. So you have to be very careful about that. I think that's one of the biggest negatives of being here, is that you can't get too comfortable. You can't, just because you meet someone, it doesn't mean that you can automatically trust them. You have to do your due diligence, talk to them, vet them, notice cues of their conversation, what they're asking you. If they're asking you so many like personal questions about where you live, you know, what kind of phone you have, they want to see your phone. Those are like cues that they're scoping you out. They're trying to see if they can finesse you some type of way. So you just have to be very careful with that, because I believe that it's gotten a lot more prevalent in the last couple of months, last couple of years here in Colombia, because a lot of tourists come. I also want to emphasize that don't be that guy that comes to another country and is disrespectful with the people, doesn't treat people nicely, that is just rude, obnoxious, flamboyant. That shit does not go far, and you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and a lot of people are going to not like you for that. And in some extent, they might do something to you because you're disrespecting their country, you're disrespecting their home. I see a lot of that, especially from Americans that come to visit Colombia, and they think that they run the show, and it's usually from guys. So I have to tell you right now, you have to be very careful if you have that mindset. If you're coming over here thinking that you can just do whatever you want, that's not the case. You can get into a lot of complicated situations if you're not careful. That's just one thing I wanted to highlight, because like I said, there's a lot of guys that come with that mindset, and then they end up getting finessed, either robbed, scammed, or something happens to them where they have a bad experience in this country. I would say that's probably the biggest negative, that you can't fully trust anyone anywhere really. But here it's like you really have to have your guard high. Here some people know English, but the majority of people speak Spanish. So for me, it's not an issue because I'm bilingual. I can speak to anyone in Spanish. But it's helpful when more people speak English. And depending on where you're at, what city you're located, and what community you're in, there might be some locations where a lot of people just speak Spanish. So you have to polish up on your Spanish and just be aware that there might be a language barrier depending on where you go. But other than that, I would say those would be the biggest negatives of coming to Colombia. Like I said, I really enjoy coming here. I love this country. It feels like a second home. Apart from Mexico, it feels like it's funny, man, because it's very similar to Mexico, but there's also a lot of big differences that you notice once you're here. But I really enjoy it because it feels like I'm also part of the culture, right? Like being Latino and being here just makes you feel comfortable. And it's the same kind of vibe that I feel when I'm in Mexico. A lot of people mistake me also for being Colombian. So it just feels like I'm home here. It doesn't feel like I'm in a foreign land. So I really enjoy being here for that reason. And I think the biggest reason that I like being here is just because it allows me to focus on my business. It allows me to work, be productive, and my American dollars just go a lot farther. So I would say that would be the biggest pro of living here. So there you have it, guys. That is my honest review of Colombia. Let me know in the comments, have you visited Colombia? Are you planning on coming here? What has been your experience? Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like. I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay strong, stay relentless, and keep on conquering. Peace.